before I get down to the main topic today, I'm going to introduce you to you a book that I bought. Uh, PC, good morning. You're here. That's good. All right. Yeah. This book was delivered yesterday. This is called Eichmann in My Hands. Yeah. Now, because of this YouTube censorship and stuff, I'm going to discuss a few words. Like, I just say one time, okay? Holocaust. I said Holocaust. Holocaust. And Jewish people, newish people. Okay, so that's how I'm going to say those words. So don't even point at it. Now, the name of the book is Eichmann in My Hands, written by Peter Z. Malcolm. Peter Z. Malcolm. Um, Very interesting book. Actually, I bought this book. I had bought this book 30 years ago. Um, and uh, so back in that was back in college. Yeah. I'm 50 years old, and I have bought this book like 30 years ago for the first time, and I carry this book around like everywhere, basically. Yeah. Now, what this book is about is the author, Peter Malcolm. I'm going to call him Mr. Malcolm. Yeah. Um, and now, what what happened was, um, now, uh, okay, good morning, hello. This uh, the author, Mr. Malcolm, um, he was born in Poland. Yeah, and because of this German invasion, you know, followed by so-called Holocaust or whatever, um, he and his family moved to Israel, which was at that time British protectorate. Yeah, and now, okay, I'm going to skip a lots of facts because I don't want to make it short. Uh, Later, like Israel became independent, and as soon as the country became the place became independent, um, he was hired as a spy and specialized in bombs, like making bombs, or like how they call it, like um, disarming bombs and stuff. Yeah, that was his specialty. But he had, of course, he had lots of other skills. Yeah, and later on, he was chosen as a member of this group, which was going to fly over to Argentina to capture this so-called war criminal, uh, whose name is Eichmann. Yeah. This guy Eichmann was supposed to be like one of the designers of like a neo Holocaust stuff. Yeah. I'm saying Holocaust, yeah, because I don't want to be caught by this YouTube, smart AI and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, this book. Chome Chome, good morning. Hello. Now, anyway, this book. Um. Uh. Okay. Now, this book is supposed to be about like how he became a spy, and he flew over to South America to catch this war criminal, and he, and all that stuff. Yeah, and that's the message I got like 30 years ago. I was back like 18, 19 years ago, 19 years old. But now it's been 30 years, and this book tells me a different story. This book tells me a lot about the how the immigration changes the society. For example, he himself is from Poland. Yeah, and a bunch of like I'm talking about like millions of people who migrated from Europe to Israel, and of course the the population, how they call it, demography has changed for the local um, people in Palestine at the time, and of course there are lots of Arabs and the Turks and all that stuff. Yeah, the local people, but because of this European Jews, European newish migration, the society changed and stuff. Yeah, and of course, I mean how he felt about Germany, Britain, and all that stuff. He tells this book is telling me now, how he felt about it, which is very interesting because 30 years ago I didn't really know this, or I didn't really pay much attention to that. I mainly pay attention to like how, you know what kind of things he did, uh like for his, you know um as part of his occupation, he had to create bombs and or disarm bombs. How he and other guys plan to um, to catch this guy Eichmann and stuff. Yeah. Now it's not much of my concern anymore in how how he created bombs and stuff. I don't really care so much anymore. Yeah. And this but now my main focus on this book is about immigration. Yeah, and how he felt about the Germans and stuff and whatever, or how not only he but the other Jewish people, Israeli people, felt about Britain and Germany and or other European countries. Yeah, um, that's my main concern now, and I'm reading that. Yeah, I read that. I had read that part already 30 years ago. Yeah, but now I'm looking at this from a different viewpoint. Yeah, so I find this book very interesting, and sometimes I'm going to talk about what kind of things he says about the migration and how Arabs and Turks and other like local Palestinian people felt about Israelis, and of course, I mean, you know, what really like what I found very interesting was that um, before those European Jews moved to before those European Jews moved to Palestine, there were not large, but there are certain portion of like a Jewish population, which was there, and those people were there for like generations and hundreds of years. Those Jewish people, not huge portion, but there are some people who are there are some Jewish people who are living there. Yeah, and those people were getting along with Arabs and Turks and all that stuff pretty well. Yeah, but those new European Jews came in, and things started to change drastically. Yeah, which was very interesting point too. Yeah, very actually it is very interesting. Yeah. Anyway, so this book Eichmann in my hands. I'm going to talk about it sometime soon. I don't know. I have to read. Um, I have to read. So first, yeah. As the title says, okay, foreign students in your country, one form of migration. Yeah, it's a question. Hmm. Now, we talk about like you know refugees and all the like rather like how do you call this like um when when we talk about like being afraid of like immigrants and stuff or whatever the foreign criminals and stuff, oftentimes we talk about um like refugees or how do you call it? People just I don't even know how you call the kind of people, people who just walk into your country, or like, like in the case of Britain, people just sail over to your country and stuff. Those are the kind of people that we imagine. But to Japan, or to the people of Japan, because no, you can really walk into this country, because like Britain, Japan is an island country. So people usually have to fly over to this country here. What I've been thinking was, because the most foreigners who are in Japan coming here legally, actually, yeah, they come in they come in many different forms. For example, like, oftentimes they come here as students, yeah, or like, they come here as workers, or they come here as tourists, yeah, and that's how they walk into this country here, and they end up uh, si- living here like illegally, or maybe legally, yeah. I don't really see personally. I don't really see much of difference between the legal ones and the illegal ones, because they both do commit not good things. If they have to, yeah. If they don't, if they don't have money, and then they do commit not good things, yeah. Whether they are legal or not, yeah. So to me, it doesn't make a huge difference between the two. Mr. G, what do you think about this? That the title says foreign students in a country. Students. I'm talking about students. Do you think it's one form of migration? Being like having having foreign students in Italy. I'm sure there are lots of foreign students who want to study Italian, or they want to study certain things about certain skills in your country, in Italy. Um, do you think do you think that's one form of migration? And do you think it is okay to keep accepting them? Mr. G, honestly, by itself, it's not form of my immigration, but I suspect they use foreign students to weaken us by making us more tolerant. Right. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. Try to make you get used to it, right? Yeah. Yeah. Try to make you get used to the fact that the foreign people are living there. Yeah. You see some foreign people, and get used to it, and bring some more or something. Maybe that's what you're trying to say. Also, also here in Italy, they sometimes give houses to students. Yeah, is that right? Okay. Japan is doing exactly the same, and we probably do even more. Yeah, which I think you Italians do to the students. Yeah, you know the Japanese people, uh, especially people in our crowd, say that, like, we give too much benefit to foreign students. Yeah, which I agree. Yeah, we give them housing sometimes, depending on what kind of students they are. But we give them housing sometimes. We even give them spending money. Like, um, spending money and stuff, and we also give them the right to work. Yeah, mainly the Chinese people, and lots of Chinese and Koreans, and some students from Vietnam, and many countries in Asia. Yeah, yeah, they come to Japan to make money, to work, and um, but because Japanese government doesn't give work permit very easily, they stay here as students, and um, they stay here as students, and they work, and often they work overtime. Yeah, and what I meant by overtime is that In Japan, as far as I know, well, last time I checked, if you're a foreign student, you can only work up to 25 hours a week or something, which is like 4 hours a day or whatever. Yeah. But of course, I mean, those students don't listen to that and they work more than 40, 50 hours sometimes. Yeah. They often have a job and they have another job or like um, and lots of them pay them under the table. Yeah. Um, So there are just so many of them, and the police officers or immigration officers, I don't know, they can catch them all, right? Yeah, they can only catch a very few of them. And if you're a company owner and if you are hiring those illegal workers, like if you make them work more than 25 hours a week, and then you can get arrested, and they do get arrested sometimes, but as far as I see it, it's just it's just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, so that's the impression I'm getting, and I think that's that. Yeah, almost nobody gets arrested. Mr. G, the pretense of foreign students, exactly. Yeah. Uh-huh. And I really want to hear from you. Actually, I put down lots of things in the description, but I don't really have to talk about it because I want to hear from you what you think about the foreign students. Yeah. Of course, I'm going to talk about the situation in Japan, but I don't know how you feel. I don't know how you feel about it. Yeah. And Mr. G, also they sometimes mask students as mask migrants as students, right? Oh, right. Yeah. Actually, yeah, they. Why should I be surprised, huh? But yeah, it's true. Yeah, a classic dirty tactic to import more people, right? The objectives to study abroad. Yeah, and one, students. Yeah, purely as students, and spies, illegal workers, common immigrants, buy land, purchase land. Yeah. And objectives to invite foreign students. There are some people who want to invite foreign students, yeah, to obtain tuitions, right? To hire, to make them Japanese, to get them involved in political activities. Yeah, I'm sure there are a few more, but those are the ones that I came up with. Yeah, I think you can all get the idea, when I say these keywords. And today, if I have time, I'm going to talk about them. Yeah, but I think you can pretty much imagine. Yeah. But before I talk about these things, I want to talk about what I put down as part of the references that I in the description. The first one that I put down is the Eric Yuan, the founder of Zoom video communications. Do you guys know what Zoom is? Do you guys use that? In Japan, we use a lot. Well, we used to use a lot. Zoom, I think it's one of the most popular, like how do you call it? Kind of like a Skype, Skype type of thing, but you can have conferences and stuff, whatever. But this was created by this guy called Eric Yuan, yeah, Chinese. Um, this guy, um, if you look into the Wikipedia, um, uh, he's introduced as like a Chinese American, Chinese American, because he got the U.S. passport. I don't know, but this guy, the Eric Yuan, yeah, he was born and raised in China, and he came to Japan first. Actually, he came to Japan And he went to college in Japan to study about the computer and um, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, he stayed in Japan for like first 4 years or something. So obviously he speaks Japanese. After that, he wanted to study more. So to study, to do his like how do you call this, graduate school thing, he moved to the U.S. Yeah, and he studied more, and then he created this company called Zoom or something, and he became very rich. Yeah, and the reason that I'm talking about this guy, Eric Yuan, is that um, his company has been providing information to the Chinese Communist Party, even though he spent a long time in Japan and he spent a long time in the U.S. and he's a U.S. citizen. Yeah, so that means that he's working, or he and his company are working as spies, or he himself as spy. Yeah, and he was a student. Mm. And I'm sure he was an excellent student. Yeah. Um, Obviously, like he when he moved to the U.S., he didn't speak much English. Yeah. So, I don't know what he did to practice his English, but now obviously he's a U.S. citizen, so he's American now, so he speak. I'm sure he speaks some English, but he was a student, and I'm sure he didn't. You know, what I imagine is probably he did not get involved in any criminal activities and stuff. He was a I'm sure he was a serious student and stuff, but now he's working as a spy for the Chinese Communist Party. That's what people say. I didn't say it, but that's what people say. Yeah. Mr. G, more and more they try to destroy the meaning of nationality, right? Uh-huh. Exactly. Yeah, that's the whole point here. They want us all as a mixed race, mass consumer slaves, right? Consumer slaves is another thing that I'm going to talk about later. Yeah, consumer slaves. So, to my impression, or to the impression of lots of the Japanese people, and probably even to the Japanese government, yeah, he was first sent to Japan probably as a spy trainee or something. He wasn't quite I don't know what kind of I don't know whether he was being involved in any espionage and stuff in Japan, but he was, because he cannot train because they cannot really train them as spies in China, maybe, uh, and it's easier for them to send them to the target countries, because China is most interested in Japan and the U.S. because we are the primary enemies of China. Yeah, because China and Japan have a long history, some serious, not very pleasant history between the two countries, and of course the U.S. Yeah, so do you think this? Do you think it is coincidental that this guy, first moved to Japan and then he moved to the U.S. These two target countries, the enemies of China. Yeah, I don't know when he was hired as a spy. Well, I don't know. Uh, hiring, being hired as a spy doesn't always mean that they are getting paid by the Chinese government. I think because this guy, the Eric Yuan is Chinese. He's how do you call it? Like loyalty. Yeah, his loyalty is for the Chinese government, maybe. So, oftentimes the spy being a spy is based on the um based on the loyalty or love for your country and stuff, love for your culture and stuff like that. So only as a convenience of being in the country, you become the national of the country. Yeah. So like Mr. G said, uh, uh, nationality doesn't really mean so much anymore. It should. I'm not saying that it's not. I don't care for nationality or whatever. I'm not saying that. I do care, and I think it is very important. If you're Italian, if you're Italian who have Italian parents, Italian grandparents, Italian ancestors, and then I think you're Italian. But for example, me, Japanese guy, walks into Italy, and 5 years later, if I become an Italian citizen, would you still call me Italian? I doubt it, and I don't think you should. Yeah, same as Britain, right? Yeah. If I go to Britain and stay there for 5 years, and if I get the UK passport, and would you call me British? I don't think you should, because I'm not. I won't be. Yeah, because we want to UK, Japan, Italy, and US, Germany, all these countries have very huge economies, and we want to keep that going. Yeah, and I think the politicians, the lawmakers, those decision makers, they get financed by those big companies, right? Yeah. So yeah, how do you call it? Like a consumer driven society it is. Yeah. Mr. G, as much as I respect you and the Japanese in general, I wouldn't give you the right to be Italian just because you are here 5 years. Exactly, exactly. Yeah. I don't think you should, because I won't be. Yeah. Doesn't matter how much of English I speak. Well, like doesn't matter, how I love Italian food and stuff. I already love Italian food. People in the world, everybody loves Italian food. That that doesn't make you an Italian person. Yeah, that's how simple that is. Did I say Italian language or English? I think maybe I think I say English. Don't expect me to be too grammatical, huh? Because yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about, but I sometimes don't know what I'm saying. I know what I want to say. I have all the stuff in my head, but that doesn't mean that I know what I'm saying. Yeah, Bacon, your grammar is excellent. Oh, thank you very much. I try. I try to be grammatical because I want to make sense. Yeah, I want to make you understand what I'm saying and stuff. Yeah, that's why I try to be more grammatical. Yeah, not because I want to look smart or sound smart or anything. Yeah, and as your pronunciation, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Really. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Um. Mr. G. Uh, oh, I almost forgot. Big question. Are pro-immigration bastards trying to justify the coming of non-Japanese in your country by using the Ainu? Ah, yeah, I forgot about that. Right? Yeah, Ainu. In case you don't know what Ainu is, probably most of you don't know what Ainu is. I'm going to talk about it later. Yeah, I've heard that they are the original Japanese. They are Japanese people. It's not a different race. It's the same race actually. Yeah, they just have a different culture. Yeah. But I'm going to talk about it very soon. Just a second, okay? Mr. G, yeah, this is a message to Bacon, right? Now, um, Ainu is a people, uh, or people say a a how can I pay? Okay, now if you think of the geography of Japan, we have a couple major islands. One in the north is called Hokkaido, yeah, and Honshu, it's the largest one, and Shikoku and Kyushu, and the south, how do you call it? Southwestern part of island is called Kyushu, and that's where I live. Yeah, awesome place. But the one in the north is called Hokkaido. Yeah. um, Hokkaido was under the Japanese rule for like hundreds of years already, and there are some people who are there are uh, there is a people called Ainu, and some people say that they are the like how do you call it? Like, I should say Indians. How do you call it? Native Hokkaido people or something. But the fact is, they actually migrated from Japan, from Honshu, the an island of Japan, to Hokkaido for whatever reason they had. I don't know why, but they moved from mainland Japan to 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 the place. Yeah. So racially, we're the same. Yeah. But what happened was because they moved to a different place and they were there for like hundreds of years, and they started to they created their own culture. Yeah, which is a good thing. Yeah. Um, you can imagine, for example, like in Italy, northern half and the southern northern half and the southern half are very different from each other here, and Milan, Florence, Rome, um, whatever those major cities are very very different from each other here. So, you know, every city can have a different culture and stuff. Britain, London, Britain. Cities like London is a big city, and Manchester, Bristol, um, Yorkshire or whatever. You have those major cities, and those cities are very different from each other. Yeah, just like that. These people that I knew in Hokkaido, they start say that they are a different race. Yeah, and of course, I mean there are some migrants from Russia. Yeah, so oftentimes Ainu people look a bit white, bit like Caucasian. In the US, people say Caucasian, but I think you should say white because Caucasian, Caucasus region is like a Ukraine or something, So, in my opinion, you should say white, but Americans, like very um, Americans like to use the word Caucasian because they don't want to use the words of the colors. They don't like to say black. They don't like to say white. But I think you should say white and black. Yeah. Anyway, that's my opinion. Don't worry about it. But anyway, so that um um oftentimes those Ainu people look a bit white. Anyway, yeah. So basically, the Ainu people are Japanese people. They are the Japanese immigrants to Hokkaido. Yeah. So there are more details and stuff, but I'm gonna skip that. Yeah. But anyway, so those Ainu people are used by using Ainu justify the country coming of non-Japanese people in your country by using the Ainu. Exactly. Yeah. Some people say because Japan, those people say that Japan already is multi-racial country. Yeah. No, we are ethnic. How do you call it? Um, Japan is supposed to have only one race, Japanese people. Yeah, yeah. We should not. Um, uh, it's not. Japan is not America. I hope this is not. I hope this is not offending Americans, but I think you know what I mean, because America, to begin with, you had lots of Europeans coming, right? You know, and Europeans are not. Eu- Europe is not one race. Yeah, Italians and French and Spanish, British. Um, you know, Europe is a very diverse place, and those people move to America. Yeah, so U.S. is a multiracial country to begin with. Yeah, Japan is not. Yeah, Japan is an ethno national country or whatever. Yeah. Um, but some people like to say that Ainu is a different race. So Japan actually is a multiracial country, which I think is wrong. Yeah. So it is okay for us to to invite more immigrants from Korea, China, Vietnam, Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia. Those are the major countries that export their people to Japan. Yeah. Ethnic homogeneous, right, right. Ethnically homogeneous, right. Yeah. Bacon, please keep Japan pure. Thank you very much. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. Yeah. If you come to Japan, I think you won't see the Japanese people. Yeah. If you come to Japan, you want to see Japanese people. If I go to Italy, I want to see Italian people. Yeah. And if I go to Britain, I want to see British people. You know, I don't want to see lots of Chinese and Koreans and shit like that. Well, if I go to Britain or Italy, yeah, which I did see when I went there. Yeah. Um, I don't really have to see Chinatown and shit, in your country. Yeah, yeah. And we used to be like that. Things are changing. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't want to leave my country like how it's being right now to my children, to my grandchildren, to my descendants. Yeah, I want to make. I want to. I want to hand this country to my descendants as it should be. Yeah. And of course, I mean, like people say, like some motherfuckers are so worried about depopulation of Japan and stuff, from time to time. Now, first of all, I've said this before, but I'm saying this again. Japan's population is about like 130 million, which is very large. Yeah, and but some people say like Japan is going to die out, because we have a depopulation crisis and stuff. Yeah. Now, birth rate of Japan is about like 1.4, 1.3, depending on the year, and which is about same as most countries in Europe. Yeah. So it's decreasing a little bit, but don't worry about Japan. Yeah. Some What's his name? Elon Musk. Elon Musk. I forgot. This guy from South Africa. I don't know if you know about this, but this guy from like South Africa. He is a he's like one of the multi billionaires. Um, um, from South Africa, and he moved to the U.S. and I think he's American now, and he is saying like Japan is going to cease to exist because of this bee population or something. No, we have like 130 million people. That's a very very large population, and we're gonna be around. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, and fuck you too, actually. Yeah, But I think the reason that this guy was saying that was because we try not to accept immigrants, or like people in Japan don't want to accept immigrants. That's why. Yeah. And he didn't, even though the most European countries have about the same birth rate as Japan, he did not mention Europe because there are lots of immigrants try to go into Europe, so you don't have to worry about it. Yeah. But in my opinion, um, Japan will not be Japan, and uh, Japan will not be Japan if we keep accepting those immigrants. If you think about it, now, um, two now one Japanese person and one foreign person. For example, let's say Korean. Okay, we look very similar to each other, but we're different races. And Japanese and Korean get married, so it's gonna be like half Korean and half Japanese, right? So, and those half Japanese, half person marries another Korean Japanese, say. So it's going to be his blood, his Japanese blood is going to be one fourth, yeah, quarter. And the quarter person marries to the another, an, another quarter person. It's going to be less. And if the person marries another quarter person, or like like whatever, and then it's going to be even less and less and less. The person is not Japanese anymore. Yeah, that means that in a way we are going to have fewer Japanese people in this country, uh, because the person is not Japanese. Maybe the Japan's population, Japanese nationals, Japanese um, people with the Japanese passports may increase, but they're not Japanese because the blood is like you know one uh one fourth, one eighth, 1/16, 1/100th. The person is not Japanese anymore. Yeah, yeah. So um, racially, yeah, we may cease to exist if we have more. Same as Italy, same as Britain. Do you see what I'm getting to? Like Italian person, Mr. G. If you marry, I don't know, if you marry African, half Ital, half Italian, half African. Yeah, yeah. People say, "Ah, so cute. The baby is so cute. It's great to have like white, like kind of like a half black and half white. So cute, whatever." Anyway, the person, your child, marries another um African Italian or something. So it's gonna be like it's not it's gonna be one fourth. Yeah, and the person marries another one and whatever. Now it's gonna be your descendants' blood is going to be um half, you know, 1/2, one fourth, 1/8, 1/16, one, you know, one 50th or whatever. Yeah, but this motherfucker was saying like this. Japan is going to cease to exist because our birth rate is not very high, and um, how do you call it? We don't accept immigrants. Yeah, if we accept immigrants, there are going to be fewer Japanese for sure because it's going to be half and half and half and half. So half by half and half by half. So half, 1/2, one fourth, 1/16. At that point, the person is not Japanese. The person is, for example, like if those kids keep marrying like a half Japanese and half Korean, they he's going to have more Korean blood. Yeah. So if we accept immigrants, our race or people will cease to exist. Yeah, I don't know why people don't get that. Um, yeah, maybe we can keep the population big. Yeah, we're still going to have maybe over 100 million people in this country. Yeah, but our race will cease. Our race will cease to exist if we keep marrying those foreigners. Yeah, Mr. G, marry an African. Oh my, oh God, no. Who knows? There are some very pretty African women. Yeah, you've seen that. There are some sexy African women who can cook African food. Of course, I mean, she may lose her mind, and then she's gonna yell at you in some African tribal language and stuff. The kind of language they speak, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You. Who knows? Hey, your kids may learn. Your kids may pick up some of that. They're gonna say, "Yeah, dad." I say, "Dad," but like, "Dad." And the second one actually is a. Do you know what language it is? This is called Vietnamese. Yeah. Because I'm studying Vietnamese, because I have a lot to say to them. Yeah. Because I don't want them to come to this country here, so I'm learning their language. Yeah. And um, there are some YouTubers I watch often, and this person is very interesting. She's from Vietnam, but when she was young, she moved to Korea for some reason. Maybe she went there to work and stuff, but now she speaks very good Korean. Yeah, and of course she speaks Vietnamese, and I think she has been teaching herself Japanese too. And the other day I watched one video that she created in Japanese, and her Japanese was really good actually. I understood everything she said. Her grammar was pretty good. She was talking about one city in Japan, which she thinks is beautiful, and like the place that she wants to go when she gets to Japan and stuff and whatever. So obviously she has been working hard to learn Japanese. Yeah, I think she's married to this Korean man or something. But anyway, that's her background. But in this video that I put down here in the description, she is saying that at this moment she cannot enter Japan because of this whatever. I'm going to change the word a little bit. Nyandemic. Nyandemic. Yeah. Because of this corona, because of this corona crisis. Corona crisis. Because of this corona crisis, yeah, she cannot enter Japan. Did you understand what I said? Corona crisis. Crisis. She cannot enter Japan, right? And she was saying she wasn't really complaining. She was just feeling sad. I think she was speaking everything. Yeah, yeah. Uh, she was saying everything in Vietnamese and stuff, and she wasn't really whining. She's saying that you know she understands this situation and she's just waiting or whatever. But she really wants to up brush up her Japanese, and she is planning to go to this university called Waseda University. Yeah, and all the stuff, but everything's all postponed. Yeah, and stuff, and When I see these people, do feel sorry for these people who cannot enter Japan. But at the same time, most Japanese people, including myself, do not want to invite any foreign students. Yeah, because oftentimes they cause trouble. Yeah, we don't want anybody to cause trouble in this country here. Yeah, because like I said, lots of the foreign students come to this country just to work. Yeah, and like I said, they work overtime. They can only work up to 25 hours a day, 25 hours a week, but of course, I mean, they work like 40, 50 hours a week or even more sometimes, because they're here to make money, right? Yeah. I don't want those people to be in this country here, but this woman, this Vietnamese woman who lives in Korea now, South Korea now, she wants to come to Japan to brush up her Japanese and stuff. And I'm a human being too. I do feel sorry for this girl. Yeah, but I think she's going back to South Korea because her husband is waiting, as far as I see. I hope she won't bring her husband and she in this country here, Vietnamese and Koreans are not good combination for for this country. That doesn't sound very good. Such dedication. Do Vietnamese have some similarities with Chinese? They probably deny it, but when I see it, yes, because China is a very big country, and when people imagine Chinese, I think most people imagine Chinese from the northern Chinese who are like who look almost same as us. Yeah, people from northern part of China, northern part of China are kind of like a Koreans or look. I'm just talking about the appearances. Look almost like us, as Japanese or Koreans or whatever. But if you go to the southern part of China, a lot of them look almost like how do you call it, Southeast Asians. Yeah. So yeah, but anyway, so this Vietnamese girl, I do feel sorry for her. Yeah, I mean, she said she already paid some money and stuff. Yeah, and she's really looking forward to coming to Japan, and she wants to learn, she wants to brush up her Japanese, you know, um, her Japanese, and because her husband is Korean, so probably or hopefully she's going back to Korea after that. Yeah. But at the same time, when I look at the other students who want to come to Japan, they're not here to study. Yeah, they're just here to make to make money and stuff. And working foreigners working in this country does affect a lot of things. For example, yeah, not of course. I mean, they oftentimes they work in restaurants. Yeah, or like they work in the factories or whatever. And they do the kind of stuff, but things happen in your life. Yeah, and those people are human beings too, so they lose their job sometimes, or they don't do very well, and um they feel sick or whatever. And um first of all, when they work, they're taking our jobs. That's number one. That's a fact, actually. That's a fact. If foreigners come to this country and they work, they're taking our jobs. Yeah, I don't. That it doesn't matter how nice a person is. Those people are still taking our jobs. I don't like that. Yeah, that's number one. And number two, and when those people um um when they like I said, like they when they when those people feel, you know, get sick or get fired and they lose their jobs, and then oftentimes they commit crimes. That's another fact. Yeah. So nothing is really good for us. Nothing of, them coming to Japan is really good for us. Yeah. If the girl comes to Japan and just study, yeah, it might be okay. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think she's gonna get a job. Yeah. Because she wants to make her same money at the same time. Yeah. And Sally, not just taking our jobs, they undercut our pay, so your own workers end up being paid less. Exactly. Exactly. I almost forgot to mention that. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys, do other people understand what she's talking about? Um, I think what she's trying to say, or what I want to say actually, but what she's saying here is foreigners come to Japan to work, or foreigners come to your country to work, and then um, well, foreigners come to your country to work because those company owners want to hire cheap laborers, yeah, cheap workers. So that's why they want to hire foreigners. Yeah. So those cheap laborers come to your country and work, then the company owners pay them cheap, right? Yeah. So that will give them an excuse to pay you less, because the company owner says, because I used to be paying, like, for example, $50 or something. I used to be paying $50 a day, but now I'm paying 40 because I'm paying that to everyone else. You're not the only person who is getting $40. Everyone is getting $40 nowadays. Yeah. So that kind of thing, and that's happening. That's exactly what's happening in Japan too. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So nothing is good. Uh, none of the things that that's happening right now. Yeah. When it comes to, like, foreign workers, yeah, is good. Foreigners come to your country to work. They live cheaply and will sleep to a room. Right. They say they want to save money and go back to their own country, but they really do. Right. Mhm. They say they want to save money, and they say they want to go back. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, but actually, they save money and they don't want to spend money in your country sometimes, which is another thing that which is another thing that means nothing to you guys, because, for example, like in Japan, we have, like, almost, I think we have, like, uh, PC さん、how many foreign workers do we have in this country here? PC さん、日本に今何人ぐらい、どんくらいの外国人労働者がいるかわかります？ But yeah, anyway, so we have, like, many foreign workers here in this country, mostly from Vietnam. Vietnam, Vietnamese want to come to Japan. And the second one is Chinese, actually, and the third one is Filipino, and the fourth one is Korean, I think. Yeah, the kind of order. And they save money, yeah. But instead of going back, or, like, spending money in this country here, they want to save, and they save a lot of them. In the they save a lot of them, and they send. they send the money to Vietnam or their home countries. PC さん、thank you. Okay. 1.72 million foreign workers, which I think is a lot. Yeah. Thank you very much, PC. According to the statistics that he got, PC fixed video got, we have 1.72 million foreign workers. That's actually more than I expected. I thought it was less, maybe about 1.5 or something. Next one is news in Japanese. I'm going to explain to you. This this is this about the conflict between the Chinese students in Japan. Yeah. Now this newspaper is written in Japanese, but but is actually is a Chinese paper, but they write in Japanese so that we will know what they are doing and stuff. Yeah. And now this guy, he's these Chinese students who lives in Japan called Shao Inlui. Anyway, this Chinese man, he has this website that talks about um, social problems and corruption and stuff in China. Yeah, and he basically exposes those rather embarrassing facts about China. Yeah, and he's studying in Japan. Well, he has a student in Japan because he had to run away from China, basically. Yeah. Anyway, uh, this happened last year in last August. He almost got attacked by some Chinese people, other Chinese students. Yeah, Chinese people, and he was threatened to death by those Chinese people and stuff. Yeah, basically, those two Chinese students came to his house to shut down his website, and then if he doesn't do that, they're going to kill them and stuff. Yeah, that's happening in Japan. The trouble amongst the Chinese people, the trouble between the Chinese people is almost is actually leading to this criminal case in Japan. I understand, like, if he has this kind of website to embarrass the Chinese Communist Party and stuff, and then he might be in his life danger and stuff, right, in China. But I say, please don't do that in Japan. Why didn't you choose someplace else? Why did you come to Japan? But they do. Actually, many China. I'm sure to Britain and Italy and a lot other countries. I mean, when Chinese run away from China because of their political, like how they call it, beliefs, or how they call this, political asylum. When they seek political asylum, and oftentimes they choose Japan because it's near, and of course the U.S. and lots of European countries, including the UK and Italy. Yeah, but we have a few other political asylum seekers who are refugees, or actually a lot of them already became Japanese citizens. They run away to Japan, and they do that, but they're causing trouble here in Japan. Yeah, well, he's not. Maybe he's not causing trouble, but other Chinese came to his house and tried to, they warned him that they're gonna kill him and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what happened. Sally, the EU were giving money to foreigners to start businesses in other countries, including mine. Oh shit! Oh, EU, European Union. I thought that the Britain left the EU already. That's weird. So the British businesses could not compete and they went broke, right? Mm. Oh, but you're saying that the EU were giving money, so it's a past. That was happening, and I think that maybe that's another reason that Britain wanted to leave the EU. We can fish, but only an agreed amount of. Oh, I see. Amount, but the UK, but the EU can take us. Can EU can take as much as they like. Oh, that's what it is. Oh, that's crazy. Is that the part of the agree? Is that part of the agreement that you made when you guys were leaving the EU? Sally, it is not what my people voted for, right? We wanted our country to be re reinstated to what it was before we joined, not tied to the EU in any way. Our leaders are liars, right? I think fishery is just one of the examples that, yeah, Japan is also an island country and we fish a lot. Yeah. And yeah, and we have some serious problem with the fishery thing. Um, yeah, especially with South Korea. South Korea, we have, yeah. I'm not gonna go through that because it's just so much to talk about. Maybe I should make another video. I should have a live show about this one here. We have some serious fishing trouble. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but the trouble about fishing with South Korea especially and Russia, actually Russia and South Korea, but South Korea is the problem is much bigger, I think. Yeah, yeah. Now let's move on to the next one here. Uh, Next one is written in Chinese. It says, "Study in Japan and have a bright future." That's what it says here in Chinese. Yeah, there was this event uh, in China. I think last year uh, to promote the studying uh, to promote uh, to to study in Japan and stuff. Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs is promoting uh, this studying in Japan thing in China. You know, there are some aspects about this matter here. Um, First of all, the the Chinese government is not allowing their people to leave the country. Um, about like 98% of Chinese people cannot leave China. Um, First of all, like, okay, now to be more precise, they stopped providing 98% of the Chinese people to have passports. And even if they already have passports, they cannot leave their country. Yeah, unless they have some very extremely like important purposes. Yeah, and most people don't. You know, for example, like if the Chinese people want to leave China to visit another country and uh, just as tourists, and they can't do that. They can't leave their country. So China is basically closing down their country. Yeah, it is. I thought everyone knew, but lots of people don't know. Even in Japan, many Japanese people don't know this. Anyway, um, uh, um, is Japan trying to open the door of China? I don't know, but what was happening and what is going to happen again is just a pure nightmare, because we used to have um my hometown is called Kumamoto. Yeah, it's a tourist place. Yeah, it's a tourist place, but about 5 6 years ago, or maybe even up to maybe 2 or 3 years ago, there are so many Chinese people living or visiting or even living in Japan, living in in my hometown, that um, for a time being, my hometown looked like a Chinatown. I didn't like that, and yeah, it didn't look like Japan anymore. Yeah, uh, I don't. If you come to Japan and if you see uh, um, if you came to Japan, if you saw what was happening, and you might have thought that, oh, there's so many tourists in it, whatever. And even if you can recognize the linguistic difference between between Japanese and Chinese, and you probably would think you probably think that it's a good thing that my hometown is having so many Chinese tourists, whatever. But to us, for the Japanese people, for the local residents in this hometown, it wasn't all that great. Yeah. Um, and I don't know if I should be saying this, but uh, because of this Koronia Krajcic, I'm changing this pronunciation. Okay. Yeah. I'm not mispronouncing this. I'm doing this on purpose. Because of this Koronia Krajcic, um, they stopped coming. And uh, on top of that, the relationship between China and Japan got pretty bad. And because of that, they closed down. China basically closed down their country, and they can those Chinese people cannot come to Japan. So we see almost no Chinese in this town now. Well, we do have some residents already, and they haven't gone back to China, so can uh, they haven't gone back to China, so they are still here. But those are the only Chinese people that we see. Yeah, yeah, I don't think they're going back. I mean, why would you want to go back to the country that's closed, right? Yeah, yeah. Once you go back to China, they can never leave China anymore. So anyway, Sally, if a country's leaders are not putting the indigenous people first, then they are not working in your best interest. Exactly. But again, I think you and I talked about this. There are some evil people. Evil people. In Japan too, of course. And I think every country, every culture has some evil people. They just want to do something against your country, and oftentimes they're from rich families. Like they have power. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes they're famous and they're popular sometimes, and those people are evil. Yeah, and those who are doing good things for your country sometimes, oftentimes, are not very popular for some reason. It's not kind of strange though. Every country has its trade-offs. Exactly, Mr. G. Yeah. Sally, they will prioritize communist traders, right? They're doing that. Even in Japan, they're doing that. Yeah. Mr. G, in the end, we all agree that everyone should stay in their own country. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They, I say, they can go to China. They can go to South Korea. I don't care. They can go to China. They can go to South Korea. Yeah. And which countries? What other? What are the other countries that I dislike? I dislike China and Korea. So yeah, they can go to China and Korea, but don't go to other places. Actually, I don't really care if they go to other countries in Asia because I don't really like any of them. I lived in those places and I don't. They're multiracial. They're like they have real harsh, fierce ethnic conflicts in those places, like Malaysia, for example. I mean, they were killing each other for ages, and yeah, man, I shouldn't say I don't care, but they don't like us, you know. So even though we built, Japan walked in there. Um, for example, Europeans walked into those Asian places, and you guys built roads and streets and stuff, you know. And when we are there, we even built more trains. We even built more schools and streets and stuff. We, uh, we taught them how to grow different kind of vegetables and stuff. But they don't appreciate it. They all complain. All they do is just talk bad about Japan. So if immigrants want to go to those places, and they can go, because I don't care. But don't come to Japan because Japan is a ethno national, how do you call it, ethnic country or something. Yeah. My country is actually reserving large amounts of new housing for the Chinese companies to buy. Ah, ha, ha. And we aren't allowed to buy them. Oh, it's reserved for the Chinese, really? But Chinese can leave the country, so why don't you give the houses to the British people? They are everywhere here too, but not as many as we have Africans, right? That's what you're saying. The Africans are even more. Yeah. Okay, we go. As Scotland, Ireland, and Wales are now being flooded with huge number of immigrants, they can see that something is really wrong, right? And British people are the ones sleeping on the street in the shop doorways. Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. This makes me angry. Yeah. Yeah. There's something that's really wrong going on. Yeah. Yeah. Um I hear um it's not it's not really but uh, how can I put it here? I'm sorry, I cannot find right words for right words to express my opinion here because it's just so makes me so angry. Yeah, don't let it happen in Japan. Yeah, I saw something like that in the U.S. Like for example, there are just so many illegal immigrants living in America, and last time we checked, there's this big city called Seattle, and Los Angeles. Those places are getting very dirty and stuff. I'm not there, so I don't know. The locals may say something else, but the last time I think I saw some. I saw that in the videos of what's his name. He's a I think he's a British YouTuber called uh, Watson. Very famous. And I think he is an activist too in the UK. I think he was in UKIP. Um, Watson, something Watson. Uh, he was saying that Seattle, Paul Joseph Watson. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, he's my fave, and he was talking about Seattle and Los Angeles and Portland. Those places. Portland was one place I have been to. Actually, I went there a few times. In Seattle, I went. I used to live near that place. Beautiful cities. But now he is saying that now those places aren't in a good shape, not as good as before. Something. Paul Joseph Watson, right? Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I can pronounce his name really well. Paul Joseph Watson, right? Don't trust your leaders to be acting in the best interests of your people. That is my best advice, right? Evil people. There are some evil people. If you suspect they are corrupt, they are likely are. He never criticizes those who you cannot criticize. Really? Oh, he never criticizes those who you cannot criticize. Oh, really? PC さん、Joseph, right? Paul Joseph Watson, right? Joseph, right? さらによ。今やんないですけどね。はい he never criticizes those who you cannot criticize exactly. Um, but that's what you should be doing, right? I think. Yeah. If I'm understanding what you're trying to say uh, correctly, yeah, he should be criticizing those you cannot criticize. But I guess maybe he doesn't want to be banned from YouTube or something or whatever. I'm going to talk about one thing that really bothered me a few months back, maybe. Japan recent this month, I think Japan opened the gate to the foreign students and workers. Not all of them, but with some restrictions, we opened the door like maybe halfway or something. Um, but before that, Japan closed down the door because of the Corona crisis, and um, this this guy. I'm not criticizing Americans, okay? But this guy who happens to be American, and I think he's black, and his name on Twitter was Kurobune or something like that. Kurobune. Kurobune means like a black ship. But for us, when we say black ship, that means that um, that really means that about like 150 years ago, this American called Perry came to Japan to open to get the Japanese government at that time shogunate to open the ports to trade with Americans and stuff. And the Perry was on the black ships. Perry and his guys were on the black ships. So uh, that's what they. So for the Japanese people, Kurobune, which means black ships, really means that somebody is coming here to knock on the door or something. Yeah. But I thought that I don't know what the fuck he was trying to do actually. And I'm sorry. That really made me angry because I'm sorry if I'm if you I curse sometimes. Yeah. That really that really bothered me because to us, Perry is a guy. Perry is one of the guys who opened the ports of Japan, but with a force. Yeah. So he's not all the Perry is not always like a good guy. He's not a good guy for us. How can I put it here? Um, I thought this black American guy who called himself um, Kurobune or Black Ship or whatever. Um, to my impression, he was being arrogant. Maybe he didn't mean to be, but um, his Twitter account, Twitter account name was that, and he put down he was writing the stuff that says like Japan, this corona, this corona crisis is a bullshit, and so Japan is making an excuse not to accept tourists like students or other immigrants from other countries and stuff. Yeah, and I think he was right. We didn't want Japanese people in general don't want um, Japanese people in general don't want tourists, students, and other people from other countries. Most people don't. Of course, the people in the tourist business, or like school business, tourist business or school business, those kind of businesses, um, I'm sure they need foreign people to so that they can drop more money and stuff. But most Japanese don't want. Yeah, and we're very happy that this corona crisis hit all over the country, all over the world. So namely the Chinese tourists or like a Korean tourists don't come to Japan anymore. Yeah, but this arrogant guy who happens to be American. Yeah, I'm not saying that arrogant American because I know I used to live there. I lived there for a long time. I know most Americans are good. Yeah, but maybe he doesn't understand that we don't want those. We don't want the tourists from other countries. Yeah, and we're fine with that. You call us racist, go ahead. Well, I don't give a shit. But anyway, um, and he was saying that, and he found my account, and that's how I found him. Actually, he found me first because I put down that um, I my tweet got wiped out by Twitter for the hate speech or something. I don't know why. What did I say? Now, in my tweet, I said I um you know we don't want those whining foreigners coming to Japan. So glad that the glad that we shut down our country or something. Now, um, the reason I was saying that was I was actually retweeting somebody else's account, somebody else's tweet, which said that Japanese people are narrow-minded because we closed down for this bullshit Corona crisis. Yeah, indeed, Corona crisis is a bullshit. Yeah, I understand, but it's an excuse that we want to use. To be honest, yeah, we wanted to use this Corona crisis to to close down the country, and we're very happy with that. Yeah, our economy hasn't changed very much. Because we don't really depend on tourist businesses. Yeah, Japanese economy is heavily interior. We don't really more than 80% of the Japanese economy is being created inside the country actually. Yeah, so we don't really have much trouble with this crisis or crisis here. I'm saying this because it is a fact, first of all. Yeah, and second, in Japan, mostly the communists want to accept immigrants because communists, you know, basically communism sees no border between the countries. Yeah, like I think the communism is like it's a very much international thing. So they don't how do you call it? Um, it's kind of like an international revolution thing that they want to create, right? Yeah, that's what they want to do, and um, basically they want to bring more foreigners to cause more confusion in this country. Yeah, that's basically the communists want to do. I wrote it down there. Yeah. So he said, communism. What are you talking about? We're in the 21st century. Communism doesn't exist. He says. Ignorant person. Don't Americans, well, he's just one American that I was talking to. Maybe he is like one of those very, very few stupid people who thinks that communism doesn't exist. Stupid asshole. He was laughing at me for saying that communists are trying to create confusion by bringing the foreigners, immigrants, because he thinks that communism doesn't exist. It does fucking exist, big time. I mean, those are the guys who try to, who basically did all the, like you know, all the wrong things during the election between Trump and Biden. And communists are the ones who are doing it. Stupid asshole. Communism does exist. The fuck is wrong with you? Yeah. Globalism, globalism is the gateway to world communism. Exactly, yeah. And it does exist. Big time. It's growing bigger. Don't you see it? You gotta be goddamn. I shouldn't say this one here. Yeah. Surprise. This is actually what I want to talk about today. so so damn. You know what I mean? I want to talk about this one here. I should have talked about it at the beginning actually, because I've been thinking about that the whole time actually. The last couple months, almost always. Like some people think that communism doesn't exist. Can't believe this shit. It does exist. Communist countries may may look very, I don't know, um, non-existent. How should I say it? May look very conspicuous. Yeah, but I mean, Soviet Union, um, Soviet Union disappeared or something, and maybe he thought that it was the end of communism or something. No, it exists in your country too, in every country, in every Western country, in Japan. Yeah, big time. It's growing bigger. They're getting stronger, and we have to fight them. Yeah, before our children, grandchildren, get killed, get destroyed by them. Yeah, we have to we have to chill. I say chill. We have those bastards before they chill us. That's why I'm doing these videos, and that's why I'm involved in these activities, and because we have to get rid of those communists, because they're growing bigger and fast. They're growing faster and bigger. They in his tweet, as usual, like they said, he said something like, "I really respect the Japanese culture. I think kimono is beautiful. I love sushi, whatever. Fuck you." I don't care if you like Japanese food and Japanese women's clothing, like kimono and shit. I don't give a shit. Yeah, yeah. I don't know why he was talking about it to begin with. Why would he want to care? Maybe he has a Japanese girlfriend who lives in Japan and stuff. Yeah, and he um his Twitter account was quite popular for a time being, but he disappeared actually. He deleted his own account, or I don't know what Twitter did. But what bothered me even more was that some Japanese people who agreed with what he says, and they're saying that I want I'm waiting for my girlfriend to come from such and such country. Like this sick. First, I think it was a woman, but it could be a man actually. But this s- sick bastard was saying something like, um, "I, I want to be, I want to be united." How should what kind of word should I use here in English? I just say the word united or unify, united. I I want to get united with my girl, with my lover from Korea. Yeah, I can. All those whining tweets. Yeah. So anyway, fuck them. Yeah. Arrogant. This Kurobune guy, the black sheep guy, who happens to be American. I know there are many Americans who are awesome. Yeah. So I don't say this American brother bastard. I don't say that. He just happens to be American. But this foreign bastard, who is fucking arrogant enough to tell us to open the door because we're too close minded or something. Fuck you. That's what I would say. And he doesn't even know that the communism still fucking exists big time. Yeah. So anyway, he's far too dedicated to be just a common degenerate. He does what he does cause he's anti-nations and anti-native right. Some people just don't understand it. Fucking ignorant. Yeah. I'm talking about the communist in Japan, and he's laughing at it, saying that, oh, we're in the first 21st century. What do you mean by communism? Well, it doesn't exist. Soviet Union is gone. Whatever. It's like, no, 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 no. I'm not talking about Soviet fucking Union. Yeah. And if you think that we're too close-minded because we are Japanese, and you think we're close-minded because of that, fuck you. Seriously. Yeah. Anyway. I think I talked enough, and there are lots of parts that I need to delete in this video. I was so I was upset for a time being. I'm sorry. I need to calm down a little bit. I'm going to end this video very soon.